Sarah Martinez stood at the edge of the vast concrete training ground at Camp Pendleton, the early morning sun casting long shadows across the expanse. At 22 years old, she was noticeably smaller than the burly men milling about, her 5 feet 4 inches frame and slender build giving her the appearance of a college freshman rather than a soldier vying for a spot in an elite military program. Her dark hair was tied back in a no-nonsense ponytail, and her brown eyes scanned the scene with quiet intensity, absorbing every detail. The grunts of warm-ups, the clank of equipment, the faint scent of sweat mixed with ocean air from the nearby Pacific. This was the first day of the Marine Corps Martial Arts Program Intensive Course, a grueling 2-week regimen designed to forge advanced combat skills in personnel from various branches. Sarah was one of only 3 women among 35 participants, a fact that hadn't escaped the notice of her male counterparts. She could feel the weight of their stares, hear the low murmurs that followed her like shadows. Growing up in a dusty small town in New Mexico, the daughter of a mechanic father and a schoolteacher mother, Sarah had always been the outlier. Her father, Miguel Martinez, had served 2 tours in Vietnam, returning with scars he rarely discussed. But Sarah had glimpsed his past in faded photographs hidden in a shoebox under her parents' bed, a young man in uniform, flanked by squad mates, their faces etched with solemn pride. What set Sarah apart, hidden beneath her unassuming exterior, was a lifetime of martial arts training. Since she was 6, her grandmother Rosa, a fierce immigrant from the Philippines, had schooled her in the ancient arts of Kali and Arnis, often called eskrima. These weren't the cinematic flips and kicks of Hollywood films, but raw, practical methods honed through centuries of guerrilla warfare in the Philippine Islands. Every afternoon, while other kids lost themselves in video games or cartoons, Sarah practiced in Rosa's modest backyard. Footwork drills, stick fighting, empty-hand strikes. Rosa demanded perfection, drilling the same sequences hundreds of times until they flowed instinctively. In real fighting, you don't get second chances, Rosa would intone in her thickly accented English, her voice like gravel. The one who moves first, fastest, and smartest walks away alive. Rosa had learned from her father, a resistance fighter against Japanese invaders in World War II. The Martinez family carried a legacy of warriors, but in their quiet American town, it remained a secret. To outsiders, Rosa was just the sweet elderly lady who brought lumpia to church potlucks. High school graduation brought Sarah's surprise enlistment in the Army, shocking her worried but supportive parents. Basic training tested her limits, but Rosa's lessons had forged her into something resilient. Now, volunteering for Marine Corps Martial Arts Program, Sarah sought to push further, testing her skills against the military's finest. The program was infamous for its brutality, accepting only the most dedicated. Surveying the group, towering Marines with scarred knuckles, precise Army Rangers, imposing Navy SEALs, Sarah felt a mix of nerves and resolve. She belonged here, even if they didn't think so yet. Gunnery Sergeant Williams, a colossal figure at 6 feet 3 inches with a build like a freight train, barked the group to attention. His voice boomed like artillery. Listen up. These next 2 weeks will teach you combat that saves lives, not showy bullshit. This is about surviving when someone's gunning for you. He paced the line, gray eyes piercing like daggers. Pausing at Sarah, he lingered a beat longer, sizing her up. Some of you think this'll be easy because you did karate as a kid or watched UFC. Wrong. 40% dropout rate. Half of you won't last the week. Chuckles rippled through the Marines, eyes flicking to smaller recruits like Sarah. Corporal Jackson, a 6-foot, 200-pound behemoth with tattooed arms and unbreakable swagger, nudged his buddy, nodding her way. We'll start with grappling, Williams continued. Partner up. Put him down and keep him there. Pairs formed quickly, men gravitating to similar sizes. Sarah stood alone until Specialist Peterson, a tall, lean Army newbie, approached awkwardly. Guess it's us, he said with a shrug. Sarah smiled faintly. Fine by me. As they moved, whispers trailed. This'll be fun, Jackson smirked. Bet the little girl cries in 30 seconds. Sarah's jaw clenched, but she stayed silent. Rosa's mantra echoed. Words are noise. Actions speak. Underestimated her whole life, she'd learned to weaponize it. Williams demonstrated takedowns on a volunteer, emphasizing leverage over brute force, principles Sarah knew intimately from Callie. Peterson, hesitant about facing a woman, lunged tentatively. Sarah sidestepped, hip-tossing him smoothly. He grunted in surprise. "Whoa, you know your stuff." "Just a bit," she replied, helping him up. They drilled for 10 minutes. Sarah defended flawlessly, her moves economical. Nearby, Jackson bulldozed his SEAL partner with raw power. Noticing Sarah's prowess, his face soured. "Hey, Williams," he bellowed. "Martinez needs a real challenge. Peterson's babying her." The group hushed as Williams approached. "Problem, Corporal?" Jackson sneered. "No, sir, but she's not getting real training. Maybe pair her with someone her speed." The insult hung heavy, implying she needed coddling. Peterson flushed. "She's been great, got me down multiple times." Jackson laughed. "You're being nice 'cause she's a girl." Sarah kept cool. "I'm good with my partner." But Williams, eyes twinkling, ordered rotation. Everyone switches. Martinez, with Thompson. Thompson, stocky and seasoned, nodded professionally. "Ready?" He charged aggressively, but Sarah redirected, flipping him in a blur. He rose impressed. "What was that?" "Redirecting," she said modestly. They sparred. Thompson pushed hard, landing one takedown to her 6. At break, he told Jackson's group, "Rethink Martinez. She's legit." Jackson scowled. "A 120-pound girl troubling you?" "Nah." Skepticism lingered, whispers doubting Thompson's effort. During break, Sarah reviewed mentally, overhearing debates. Peterson sat by her. "Don't let him bug you. They're not used to women kicking ass." She smiled. "I'm used to it." Afternoon strikes and defenses saw Sarah excel, drawing curious glances. In a multi-attacker drill, her trio pressed harder than others, but she evaded with precise nerve strikes, subtle yet effective. By day's end, murmurs praised this small army girl. But Jackson's clique plotted to expose her luck. As they dispersed, Jackson taunted, "Tomorrow's real, Martinez. Rest up, you'll need it." Day 3 intensified with weapons, rubber knives for disarms. Sarah's group included Peterson, Rodriguez, a quiet Navy corpsman, and Jackson, who'd been needling her relentlessly. "Babysitting today," Jackson muttered. Rodriguez defended. "She's handled herself fine." At knife defense, Jackson volunteered attacker against Sarah. "Controlled," Instructor Chun warned. Jackson lunged viciously, but Sarah sidestepped, nerve pinching his wrist, disarming him in seconds. "Lucky," he spat. Rounds repeated. Each fail fueled his rage. After 4, Peterson offered switch, but Jackson insisted. His 5th attack was feral. Sarah countered with Callie, pinning him with the knife at his throat. Silence fell. Chun praised. "Not manual, but effective." Sarah, "Grandma's methods." Jackson rose humiliated. Training continued, but whispers spread. At dinner, Peterson and Rodriguez warned. "Jackson holds grudges. Watch out." Sarah, "I won't back down." Tension built over days, Jackson's barbs sharpening. Sarah video called Rosa nightly, drawing strength. "Show them Martinez steel." Friday's circle fighting climaxed it. 1 in center versus sequential challengers. Jackson volunteered, dominating 6 foes. Then eyed Sarah. "How about our expert?" She stepped in, facing a fatigued but cocky Jackson. He charged. She slipped, joint locking him to submission. Jackson protested. "Illegal hold. Not marine tech." Allies echoed, pushing for multi-opponent realism. Williams relented with rules. Jackson proposed 6. Sarah accepted, invoking Rose's forge metaphor. Surrounded, Sarah channeled calm. "Begin." Jackson and Brooks rushed. She swept Brooks, using him as barrier. Jackson tripped. She flowed, disarming Davis via pressure point, gunting Mitchell, nerve striking him down. Jackson rose furious, punching wildly. Sarah limb destroyed, numbing limbs. Hayes boxed cautiously. She trapped, toppling him. Brooks wrestled. She flowed, flipping him. 3 minutes, 6 down. Williams, "What was that?" Sarah, "Filipino martial arts, sir." Respect flooded. Jackson, defeated. "How?" Sarah, "Assumptions weaken you." 6 months later, Sarah presented at Quantico on diverse techniques. Promoted twice, she developed programs blending traditions. Colonel Martinez offered directorship. She accepted, emphasizing exchanges, respect, diversity. 3 years on, Major Martinez's program thrived globally. Spotting underestimated recruit Kim, Sarah mentored her demo. Calling Rosa. Cycle continues. Rosa, that's the legacy. Sarah bridged worlds, proving unseen warriors triumph.